who is the son of an IAS officer, Sri Sivasailam IAS. Who did his BTech Computer Engineering from University of Madras in 97 to 2001. Then he did his MBA from IIM Ahmedabad from 2000 to 2020 to 2022. Then he did his, in 2001 to 2003, earlier, he did his Masters in Computer Science and Engineering from University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, USA. He was currently he is working as the advisor in the TCS. His key responsibilities, which includes for driving the next big ideas like AI and next generation tech, and enabling innovation partnering with the industry, academia, and startup ecosystem. He is the head of the product strategy and management, corporate incubation, head of AI advisory consumer business group. As a vice president in the course 5I, already he was a team member and business head of courses discovery and AI-driven augmented analytics product that auto-generates analytics and insights. As a vice president, Purple Slate from 2019-21, already he was heading the leader in a department where he was having the responsibility for revenue growth and industry expansion and leading their suite of AI and NLP products and solutions. As a vice president, BNI Milan, he headed the program management of function for strategic digital transformation projects for the asset serving division. As a senior manager, Cognizant UK, he headed several key customer teams for Cognizant, including the Lloyds Banking Group team. As a product manager, Microsoft USA, his key responsibility was involved in the development and rollout of the Microsoft Office 2010 product. He is with us today to tell you, to train you, to give you some ideas how the AI tools can be utilized for your preparation, for prelims, mains, as well as for the personality test. In 2023, when we had a session on science and technology, we were searching for a excellent resource person. Fortunately, we were able to get Siddarth sir. Since then, sir is associated with KingMakers IAS Academy for handling few topics, particularly with respect to the science and technology. Though his passion towards teaching is involved for the history and other related subjects, but we requested to handle science and technology. Even that subject was handled in such a way that it will fulfill the expectation of the UPSC. Then after that, on our request, sir conducted a special session on AI tools for our staff members, for our research and development team, and exclusive workshop were conducted in 2024. So followed by that, our team members, they attended few courses. Now they have equipped their knowledges. So whenever they are preparing the questions, whenever they are setting or whenever they are evaluating your papers, whenever they are preparing some of the questions with respect to the personality test, they are using the techniques which was taught by our resource person, that is Siddarth Sivasailam. His father is, you know very well, Sivasailam IAS, who was the additional chief secretary in West Bengal, and he has visited many times to KingMakers. He is part of our KingMakers IAS Academy personality test guidance program. So sir always he used to tell me, I wanted to see my son as a Indian administrative service officer, but his passion was something else. So now he is doing something extraordinary job in AI and other related things. And one day, on behalf of the students, we will also request sir to handle history class also. So before that, today we are going to have a session on AI and other technology which can help you for your civil service preparation. I'm sure இங்கே எல்லாருமே யூஸ் பண்ணிக்கிட்டு இருப்பீங்க. யூஸ் பண்ணுற டூல்ஸ் எல்லாமே சாட் ஜிபிடி இந்த மாதிரி ஒன் ஆர் டூல்ஸ் தான் நீங்கள் யூஸ் பண்ணிகிட்டு இருப்பீங்க. பட் சாரோட செஷன் அட்டன் பண்ணதுக்கப்புறம் உங்களுக்கு தெரியும், இவ்வளோ டூல்ஸ் இருக்கா, இவ்வளோ அற்புதமாக நம்ம வந்து ப்ரிப்பரேஷனை இவ்வளோ சிம்பிளிஃபையாக பண்ண முடியுமா, நோட் மேக்கிங்க்கு எப்படி பண்ணுறது, 150 வேர்ட்ஸ்க்கு ரொம்ப அழகாக எப்படிலாம் பண்ணலாம், தமிழ் டிரான்ஸ்லேஷனுக்கு என்ன மாதிரி டூல்ஸ்லாம் யூஸ் பண்ணலாம், ப்ரிலிம்ஸ் கொஸ்டினை செட் பண்ணுறதுக்கு எப்படிலாம் நம்ம வந்து எந்தெந்த டூல்லாம் நம்ம வந்து யூஸ் பண்ணலாம், மெயின்ஸ் பேப்பரை கரெக்ஷன் பண்ணுறதுக்கு இங்கே நீங்கள் நாளைக்கு எஸ்ஏ எழுத போகிறீங்க அப்படின்னா முன்னாடியே நீங்கள் எஸ்ஏ எழுதிட்டு அந்த எஸ்ஏவை அப்லோட் பண்ணி கரெக்ஷன்லாம் வாங்கிக்கிட்டு அதுக்கப்புறம் வந்து எப்படி வந்து எஸ்ஏ வந்து எழுதலாம். பர்சனாலிட்டி டெஸ்ட்டுக்கு போகிறீங்க அப்படின்னா உங்கள் டேஃப் ரிலேட்டடாக என்னென்ன கொஷின்ஸ்லாம் வர வாய்ப்பு இருக்குன்றத ஏஐ எப்படி எடுத்து கொடுக்குது, அதுக்கப்புறம் நீங்கள் கொடுக்குற ரெஸ்பான்ஸை எப்படி வந்து இந்த ரெஸ்பான்ஸ் கொடுத்துருந்தீங்கன்னா எப்படி இருக்கும்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஏஏ வந்து உங்கள் ரெஸ்பான்ஸையே கம்ப்ளீட்டாக கரெக்ஷன் பண்ணிவிட்டு எக்ஸலண்ட்டான ஒரு ரெஸ்பான்ஸ் வந்து கொடுக்குது. ஸோ இன்னைக்கு இருக்கக்கூடிய இந்த மாடர்ன் டெக்னாலஜி வேர்ல்டில் வித்தவுட் ஏஐ நத்திங் கேன் பி மூடுன்ற ஒரு ஸ்டேட்டில் நம்ம சிவில் சர்வீஸ் ஃபீல்டுலையும் மிகப்பெரிய ஒரு தாக்கத்தை உண்டு பண்ணியிருக்கு. அதோடைய ஹெல்ப் இல்லாமல், அதோடைய டூல் இல்லாமல் நம்ம பண்ணோம் அப்படின்னா நம்மளவே நம்ம காம்ப்ளிகேட் பண்ணிக்கிறோம் அப்படின்னு அர்த்தம். ஸோ ஒரு எக்ஸலண்ட்டான ஒரு ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி இருக்கிறப்ப இன்னைக்கு அந்த காலத்துக்கு தகுந்த மாதிரி மாற்றுறது மட்டும்தான் நம்மளை வந்து அடுத்த லெவலுக்கு கொண்டு போகும். ஸோ ஏஐ டூல்ஸை வச்சு இனிமேல் வந்து எல்லா இன்ஸ்டியூட்ஸுமே வந்து ட்ரைனிங் கொடுக்கறதுக்கு ஆரம்பிச்சிருவாங்க. நம்ம ஆல்ரெடி ஒரு 2 இயர்ஸ்க்கு முன்னாடியே நம்ம வந்து இதை திங்க் பண்ணிக்கிட்டு இருக்கோம். இப்போ ஏஐ யூஸ் பண்ணி நிறைய உங்களுக்கு டெஸ்ட் எல்லாமே இந்த மோஸ்ட்லி வந்து வெரி சூன் நம்ம வந்து ஒரு சாஃப்ட்வேர் இம்ப்ளிமெண்ட் பண்ண போகிறோம். அது எல்லாமே உங்களுடைய ஸ்கோர் எல்லாத்தையுமே வந்து நம்ம இப்போ மேனுவலாக பண்ணுறது எல்லாமே உங்களுக்கு வந்து கம்ப்ளீட்டாகவே வந்து ஏஐயே பண்ணி கொடுத்துரும். ஒரு சிங்கிள் பட்டனில் உங்களுடைய கம்ப்ளீட் ஸ்கோர் எல்லாத்தையுமே நீங்கள் பார்த்துக்கலாம். ஸோ அந்த விஷயங்கள்லாம் இப்போ பண்ணியிருக்கோம். நம்ம ஆல்மோஸ்ட் அது வெரி சூன் வந்து வில் பி இம்ப்ளிமெண்டிங் இட். ஸோ ஃபைனல் ஸ்டேஜில் அந்த ப்ராடக்ட் இருக்குது. ஸோ இதெல்லாம் வந்து உங்கள் ப்ரிப்பரேஷனை பெரிய லெவலில் ஈஸி பண்ண போகுது. அதுக்கான ஒரு 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 டீசர் அப்படின்னு கூட நீங்கள் வச்சுக்கலாம் இந்த செஷனை. ஐம் ஷுர் இந்த செஷன் ஒரு மிகப்பெரிய ஒரு ஐ ஓப்பனராக இருக்கும். இது வரைக்கும் யூஸ் பண்ணிக்கிட்டு இருக்கீங்க, ஆல்ரெடி நீங்கள் ஒரு கம்ப்யூட்டர் இன்ஜினியர், ஆல்ரெடி ஒரு சாஃப்ட்வேர் இன்ஜினியர், ஆல்ரெடி ஏஐயில் நீங்கள் ஒரு எக்ஸ்பர்ட்டாக இருக்கீங்க அப்படின்னாலும் இது வந்து ஒரு அடிஷ்னல் ஒரு இன்ஃபர்மேஷனை ஏதோ ஒரு இடத்துல உங்களுக்கு கொடுக்கும். இது வரைக்கும் யூஸே பண்ணலை அப்படின்னா இன்னைக்கு இருக்க போகிற செஷன் ஒரு வரப்பிரசாதமான ஒரு செஷனை தான் உங்களுக்கு வந்து இருக்க போகுது. ஸோ இந்த பிஸி ஷெடியூலில் ஏன்னா வெரி வெல் ஒரு டீம் லீடர், அதுவும் இவ்வளோ பெரிய ஒரு மல்டிநேஷ்னல் கம்பெனியோடைய ஒரு ஹெட்டாக இருக்கிறவருக்கு வந்து he will have லாட் ஆஃப் ஒர்க். இதுக்கு நடுவில் நான் வந்து கண்டினியூஸாக ஒரு மாதமாக சாரை தொந்தரவு பண்ணிக்கிட்டே இருந்தேன். சார் இல்லை சார் எனக்கு இந்த செஷன் வேணும் வேணும் வேணும்னு அவரை கேட்டுக்கிட்டே இருப்பேன். அவர் வந்து இல்லை சார் இதை வச்சுருவோம் சார் இதை வச்சுருவோம் சார் அப்படின்னுவார். அப்புறம் அந்த டைம் வந்து சாரோட இதை ஒத்து வரல. நல்ல நேரம் வந்து இன்றைக்கி தான் நமக்கு அமைஞ்சுது. இந்த லாஸ்ட்டு ஒரு ஃபியூ வீக்ஸ் வந்து வி ட்ரைடு, எவ்வளோ ட்ரை பண்ணி பார்த்தோம். பட் அகாமடேட்டிவ் வந்து சரியாக வந்து அவரோட அவைலபிலிட்டியும் நமக்கு மேட்ச் ஆகலை. இன்றைக்கி நமக்கு கிடைச்சிருக்கு. ஸோ நல்ல ஒரு கிளாப்ஸோட இந்த செஷனை வந்து ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணி விடலாம். தேங்க்யூ சார். சார் வந்து ரொம்ப ஜாலியான பர்சன், அதனால நீங்கள் வந்து ரொம்ப கேன் பி வெரி கேஷுவல். அவர் பிபி அப்படின்றதுலாம் வெளியில் வந்துருவாரு. இங்கே வந்து ஈஸி டீச்சர். ஓகே, ஐம் ஷூர் யூ வில் என்ஜாய்.
Firstly, thank you for that very generous introduction. Sir, சொன்ன மாதிரி பிஸியா இருந்தாலும் எனக்கு வந்து one of my passions is to teach, right? Is to interact with students. எனக்கு all the times I've come to KingMakers, even I have learned a lot, right? Interacting with the students, and I'm sure I'm going to learn a lot by interacting with all of you as well. So firstly, thanks to sir for all the opportunities to come and visit KingMakers and give all of this. So teaching எனக்கு ஒரு பயங்கர பெரிய passion, right? I also teach in colleges, I teach in business schools. Second, passion after teaching, I'll say, is technology. And now I've been very into technology for many, many years. Now in the school படிக்கும்போது, I mean, talking about 1980s, right? My father, Mr. Sivasailam, he's even more than me. அவருக்கு வந்து, he's not from an engineering technology background, but அவருக்கு technology-னா ரொம்ப பயங்கர craze. So 1980s-லே நாங்க வந்து, எங்க அப்பா வந்து, he had one common இது. The latest computer will be there in the house, right? So அப்ப வந்து, I'm sure உங்களுக்கு, you are not, most of you are not born, but அப்ப we had a concept called 286, 386, 486, Pentium, அது மாதிரி, ரொம்ப every year ஒரு புது புது கம்ப்யூட்டர் டைப் வந்துட்டு இருக்கும். எங்க அப்பா வந்து, he'll always make sure we have the latest computer at home, right? அப்ப we had a concept called floppy disk. யாராவது இங்க floppy disk பார்த்துருக்கீங்களா? Very few people. I think even CD-ROM கூட பார்த்துருக்க மாட்டாங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். I think you're all beyond that, right? You were born in a much different era. So I think I'll also thank my father. I think he fueled this passion for technology. So it was very natural that I wanted to take computer science, right? Engineering, US went and studied computer science. So somehow the technology passion, technology craze has always continued me, right? And last few years, this AI has been a very big passion for me. I'm very lucky, right? I've been very lucky in being close to technology, right? So for 2017, I got introduced to AI world, and one of my bosses, where I was working, Bank of New York Mellon, I think we need to try to change this company. Let us try to experiment with AI tools, and we started. And from then on, it's been a great, right? And the same boss who introduced me to AI in Bank of New York Mellon, he started a startup company. Now, after a few years, I went and joined them. It was even deeper into AI. So AI is a fascinating field now, and last few years, of course, AI has become a very, very fascinating field. So while we bring this up now, I have a few questions for all of you. How many of you use AI today? Forget about UPSC preparation. Generally, how do you use it? Fantastic for English speaking skills. Great. Next. Anybody else? Any other ways you use AI? Well, how else do you use AI? Keywords. Keywords. So என்ன மாதிரி prompt கொடுத்தீங்க ChatGPT? Answers. What are the keywords I need to? Okay. How else? The Sora and the trend, the image trend, use பண்ண மாட்டீங்க. Nobody, you don't use it? Have you heard of GPT?
Gemini.
Oh, Gemini. Okay, sorry. Gemini la the nano banana trend. Nano banana trend yaar பண்ணாங்க? None of you did it. Huh? I mean, at my age, I did the nano banana trend, but you didn't do the nano banana trend. That's bad. I thought all of you, see, he's done it. Very good. You should. So whatever it is, even if it's fun, right? So nano banana was a trend where you can upload an image, and then it'll make you into like a model. It'll make you into whatever, right? You can wear all kinds of costumes. It was fantastic, right? So in case you just want to have some fun, go to Google Gemini Studio. I'll show you how it looks, right? And therefore you can go and try. So AI, remember, it is just not for studying. Of course, today we'll cover how to use AI for studying for UPSC. But remember that AI, you should, whatever you get, right? Try to see how you can use it. Okay. Okay, great. So I think it's done, right? I can remote use பண்ணி maybe ஒரு 5 minutes I want to spend and talk about what is AI. இங்க யாரெல்லாம் computer engineering யாரெல்லாம் இங்க பண்ணிருக்கீங்க? Okay, a few of you have done engineering, and how many of you did computer science engineering? Okay, all right, good. So why don't I ask you, what is AI? இங்க answer இங்க இருக்குறா? I don't think so. So what is AI? Anybody else? What do you think AI is? No? Nobody knows what is AI. I mean, that means you're in the right session, but in either answer, all answers are correct answers. You just want to attempt. Somebody saying something. Give, yeah.
We assumed intelligence is fed and we are getting information from it.
Okay, fantastic. Why don't we clap for her? Okay, excellent, right? So AI is very simple, right? If you come and ask me a question, right? You come and ask me a question, what is the capital of Kenya, right? And if I'm able to answer that question, right? You're like, hey, this guy knows a lot of data, a lot of information. Adhe Mari, can you go and ask a computer and gives you the right answer? Right? But that's a very static question, right? What if I say today, how is the stock market? Right? And it's able to, or can you predict how the stock market will be there tomorrow, right? So trying to, and I can predict, Naliki Nifty will go up by 200 points. I can give a prediction, right? Because I have studied the Nifty, the National Stock Exchange, for the last 10 years. I know that there's a good chance it'll go up. Adhe Mari, can you now make a system to do this? Can you make a computer to do this, right? I think that is what AI is, very, very simple terms, right? Now, remember that I think all of you are very lucky, right? I'll say even I was lucky when I was able to see a lot of technology. But I think in today's world, we are seeing a lot of these technology coming into our life, right? So about more than 20 years ago, Facebook entered, right? Then we had YouTube, and YouTube completely changed something, right? It said now you can see videos. When the internet first came, right? I remember 1995, 1996. When I had an internet connection at that point of time. It was pretty expensive, right? But my father made sure that we had an internet connection, right? To download a video and watch a video, it will take about half an hour, right? Today, we are living in a world where you can just see a video just like this, right? Streaming video. So things have really changed, right? But across, right, be it Twitter, mobile phone, that changed a lot of things, right? 2007, when the mobile phone came much before, but the smartphone came in 2007 with Apple, right? So every few years, there have been a lot of these changes that are happening on the technology side. The first thing I'll tell all of you is, you can become an IAS officer, you can become an IPS officer, or you can even do something else. You can be a businessman, you can be an IT person, you can be a doctor. We have to keep in touch with what is happening on the technology side, right? Because there is no escaping that. You have to keep up with it. Your children have to keep up with it. Your grandchildren have to keep up with it. There's no way you can be without keeping up with what is happening on the technology side, right? So number, we need to understand what are all these technology. Any new trend that you hear about, right? You should try to understand what this trend is, and you should try to adopt this trend, right? So we keep hearing about a few things on Instagram, on WhatsApp. Let's try to just check it out, what exactly it is, right? Now, time permitting, I'll actually show you a very interesting thing I did with Google AI Studio, right, and the Nano Banana. So, how did AI become very popular, right? The word AI, do you know when it was coined, or when was the field of artificial intelligence started? Any guesses which year? Summa, any guess? Give a random year. 2000? 2010? Any other answers? You can tell any year.
80.
What?
80.
2018. Okay. Any other answers? 2018, 2010? Any other answers? 2008? Okay, very good. So, see, AI, the concept, in fact, has existed since 1953, 1954. Okay, it's much older. Sir Sonara, I went to the US to do my master's, right? Now, when I did my master's in computer science, 2001, the first course I took was AI, right? But I can tell you that had no connection with the AI that we are going to talk about today, right? So AI and the concept has been there for many, many years, right? But what changed was we started digitizing data, right? So இப்போ 20 years ago, right, if I wanted to read a book, or maybe 30 years ago, I want to read a book, right? Let's say I want to read stories of my experiments with truth. Who wrote that book? Yeah, Mahatma Gandhi, right? Or Discovery of India, right? written by Nehru. If I want to read that book, I had to go to a bookstore, Higginbotham's, Landmark, buy the book and read it. Right? Ipa, do I need to go to Higginbotham's or a bookstore? No, right? I mean, I can just ask somebody, you'll send me the PDF of that book. Right? Or I can have a Kindle, I can have an iPad reader and then read the book. Right? So a lot of these things have been digitized. Even if you go to an office, right? KingMakers, when did KingMakers start, sir? 2030, right? So let's assume KingMakers was there in the 1990s or some IAS academy was there, right? If you had to go and enroll, what would you do? There'll be a paper form, you fill up, everything will be, files are gone, right? If you go to government offices, even today, there are a lot of files. But what has happened is now we've all, the entire world, not only India, we figured out that it's important to start digitizing information, digitizing data. And this has been one of the biggest reasons why AI came in. Because AI, if you really look at AI, right, all the data is digitized, right? So now you need to tell us, computer, understand this data and be able to give me some output, right? So that's pretty much what AI is. So AI, I mean, the actual textbook definition is this, right? Is the ability of a machine to perform an action which we generally associate it with human minds, right? Perceiving, receiving, learning, and all of that, right? So that is what AI is. So there were three main reasons. Of course, we digitized all the data that was there, number one. Number two, in order to read and go through this data and then understand the data, right? For example, if you're giving me one page, and the page you have written an essay. You have written an essay about, say, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, right? And so now that essay is there, I'm going to use my brain to go through it because you're going to ask me a few questions on Bal Gangadhar Tilak. So I'm using some energy, right? I'm using some mental energy and all of that. My computer needs to have something called computing power. And the computing power, it's increased enormously, right, over the last 20 years. And then at the same time, ஒரு interesting algorithms or way by which I can memorize Bal Gangadhar Tilak's paragraph, which we call as models or algorithms, that has also improved over time, right? And that is what has really resulted in AI becoming very, very useful, very, very powerful. But if you're a computer science student, you will realize that AI is not a new technology, it is just evolution of technology over the years, right? Things have just become better and bigger, and that has led to AI. So now I'll very quickly talk about how AI works, and keep this in mind because I think this will be very useful for you, because I'll forget about me. Today we're going to talk about how to use AI tools in your UPSC preparation, but AI is also becoming a question which you're getting in prelims, question you're getting in mains, right? So you need to understand how some of these things work, okay? So now when we are born, right, what is the first things we get to know? We, amma, appa, we get to know our brother's names, sisters' names, right? But over time, what happens is we learn alphabets, we learn numbers, right? We start learning language. Then school we learn maths, science, history, geography, coding. So this is how we have evolved. But does this happen immediately? No, right? This happens over many years, right? When when you are born at 2 years old, if I come and ask you, can you do a calculus function, or can you tell me, who's the what does the United Nations do? I don't think a 2-year-old can do it. Right? Eventually, slowly we learn this. Right? We start storing it on our brain and we are able to recall it. Right? But we are all human beings, so we have our own restrictions in that sense. Right? Now, if we write everything we have learned in books, let's assume, right, from the time I was born till now, right, for 40 years, everything I have learned, right? So it could be the faces of the people I know, the textbooks I've learned. I went to Singapore, what all I saw in Singapore. I used to write coding. I used to I know how to drive a car. Ilayaraja songs. I went and saw a few movies. Everything I have seen, all faces, all images, all data. Assume that I write all of this into books. Okay? I write all of this into books. Right? And what's your name? Sorry? Tamil Selvan. நான் தமிழ் செல்வன் கிட்ட என்ன சொல்றேன்னா, இந்த புக்ஸ் எழுதிட்டேன், ஒரு 25 books இருக்கு. I go and tell Tamil Selvan, here are 25 books. Right? How much time do you need to go through everything? Because people will come and ask questions about my life. What did I do when I was 7 years old? What did I do when I went to Singapore? How much time do you need to read all the books? Many years, correct? Because he also has his own limitations, right? As a human brain, it'll take a lot of years. But if I now go and give this to a computer, right? Do you think a computer can do it? Right? And will it take many years? No, it'll take time. It can't do it in a second, but it can still do it much faster than Thomas Shelvan or me or whoever else who is there, right? So that is how you need to look at AI, right? Think about this huge library, which has books about all the information I have got in my life, all the information of all the 100 of you here, right? It has all the books ever written. It has all the websites ever written. It has all the public information, right? Whatever videos, audio. Imagine everything is made into books and stored in a library, right? And then you go and tell a computer, go and read all the books. And you should be able to recall all of this. So in a very simple way, this is what AI is, right? Go back to this library example. There's a big library full of books with all the public information which is there. Now you can go and ask this AI, you can go and tell this AI to make predictions, ask general questions. That is pretty much what AI is. I think that's the easiest way you should try to remember this. Just for some additional information, I'm going to tell that we could do this even about 10 years ago, right? The main difference was about 3 years ago, we added the basically OpenAI in one company, right? They did a lot of research and they added the ability for it to now understand and talk in a language, which was English. And they invented something called LLM. Anybody knows what is the full form of LLM? Large language models, right? So large language models was a game changer. It was a game changer because now you can go and ask this AI a question and it is able to understand your English and then it is able to give the answer from one of these books, right? So that's the reason it was a big game changer about 3 years ago. Now you can ask questions in Tamil, Hindi, whatever, right? And we're going to see some very interesting tools like Sir was mentioning, right? You'll be pretty amazed at what all AI can do. Okay, so this is what has happened: websites on the internet, digitized information, language, more importantly, it knows how to speak in a language, right? So that is what your ChatGPT, your Gemini, your Claude, your Perplexity, all of them do. Okay. Now, apart from this, there's also private information. For example, can you go and ask ChatGPT, can you please tell me how many students are enrolled in KingMakers this year, right? Or can you go and say, can you please give me the address of Tamil Shelvan? It might still be in some KingMakers computer, KingMakers database, KingMakers spreadsheet, right? But ChatGPT won't know it because it's a private information. So all of this, right, business information, operation information, right? Can you go and say, can you tell me how much Siddarth, what does he do? Where is his office in TCS, right? All of that, it may not be able to tell unless I put it publicly, right? On a LinkedIn, on some Facebook, on some Instagram, right? So all of that's still there. So there's still in a company, we have our own private GPT, right? Where you can go and query all of this. Many companies have that, but most of us use this public GPT. Okay. So now, how is this relevant to us? Why am I here, right? In that library of books, right? Some of the things the computer has also gone and read are NCERT textbooks, previous year's UPSC question papers, books like Lakshmikant, right? All the newspapers, interview recordings, questions. It has also read the websites of all your Shankars, KingMakers, Vajiram and Ravi, right? All the leading IAS institutions. So it has all of this. So now is this going to be helpful to us? Yes, right? Not because now we can go and get something out of this. We can go and ask questions. We can ask for help in making some model cards, some quizzes and all of that, right? So that is where, AI can really help us a lot, right? It can help us in prelims preparation, mains preparation. It can also help us in, interview preparation, okay? So now let's take KingMakers Academy, right? There's an additional way in which we can do this, right? You can also now use it to kind of determine which student will get in, what kind of questions we can get. We'll talk about that a bit later. But before we go on, right, a few things I want all of you to understand, right? Your primary learning has to happen in classrooms, has to happen with the materials that KingMakers provides, right? It has to happen here. AI can only supplement it. So don't think that I'll only use ChatGPT, sir showed me some tool, I'll only use it, I don't need anything. No. Primary has to happen here, right? Because I do think a primary mode of teaching always only has to be offline, right? And then so primary has to happen here. Also keep in mind that and the library of books pathonla. So we saw this library of books, right? So can I publish 30 books, okay, where I say that Hitler is a great guy, Donald Trump is a great guy, right? If I go and publish all these books and then give it there, if I give it to Tamil Selvan, he'll know, he'll throw out that book. But if I give it to a computer, will it throw out the book? No, it doesn't know, right? So remember, AI is dependent on what gets fed in. And there are obviously bad actors, right, who are trying to form an opinion, who are trying to give information. So remember, the output that comes out of AI is not 100% accurate. So please don't go and tell, right? AI told me this, right? I went and asked, right? I went and asked, what is the capital of Burma? Right? What is the capital of Burma? What is Burma? What is the new name of Burma? Burma is a country. What is the capital of Myanmar? Right? So what will AI tell you? What is the answer? You guys don't know the capital of Myanmar? Any answer? No? Okay, you can, you can go and figure out. So the capital of, so this is a very classic question, right? So Myanmar used to be known as Burma, and for the longest time, the capital was Rangoon, right? But the thing is, so many websites you go and see, it'll say Rangoon, Rangoon. But about like 11 years ago, overnight, the army there just changed the capital. It's a new city called Naypyidaw, right? Most people have not even updated it. So a classic question was to go and when ChatGPT first came out to go and ask ChatGPT what is the capital, it actually said Rangoon, right? But then obviously now it tells the right answer. So keep in mind that it may not be accurate. So always, take it whatever it takes. To a large extent, it is correct, right? But keep it that it may not be very accurate. Okay. So I'll stop here, right? We're going to now go into various tools. Any questions on AI? If you are interested to learn about AI applications, you can always drop me a note. Either WhatsApp me or send me a message on LinkedIn. More than happy to teach you more about AI and stuff because I think it's a fascinating field. It's going to take up more and more role, right? In fact, now I conducted a session on AI here where I talked about once you complete your exam successfully, you become a civil servant, you go and work in the government, IAS, IPS, how all AI should be used by you. Right, it's really fascinating. Recently, now and then, I'd gone to Nashik in Maharashtra, right? And we are doing some work there, right? We have a digital impact square or a social entrepreneurship place. And I got to meet a lot of the IAS officers of Nashik, right? And all of them are talking about how they're using AI for governance, right? So I met about 3 IAS officers, 1 IPS officer, and we also had like one of the state ministers coming, right, talking about how they're using AI for governance. So I think you need to learn more about AI even after you complete the examination, become a civil servant. So keep that in mind. Happy to help in terms of anything, questions that you might have. Okay. So let's now go to and look at some of these tools. So yeah, can I get the internet? You have internet irukra? Connect பண்ணிருக்கீங்களா? Okay. All right. So let's go and ask, what is the most common tool that you use? ChatGPT. Okay. Have any of you used this tool called NotebookLM? Okay. So we'll start off with NotebookLM. I mean, I want to teach you, we'll go through ChatGPT, but we'll start off with NotebookLM because you're going to be fascinated. And that is the reason I want you to look at NotebookLM. Okay. So இப்போ நான் என்ன பண்ணியிருக்கிறேன்னா, I've used a very simple PDF. Okay. So this is the PDF. Can you see this PDF? Right. So I have given some notes on India's independence movement. right? It is about 13 pages long. 1857, formation of INC, everything, right? So it has, because now I've just used a random set of notes, but you can make it as detailed. You can even upload a 100-page document, right? And we'll see how all of this works. So for example, I think I might have like, I even have NCRT textbook. We can even upload this and see, okay? But we'll start off with that simple document. So what NotebookLM is, it's a tool, right? NotebookLM is by Google. So it runs on Gemini, right? And a Gemini which you all use. It helps you. Now, all I've done is I've just gone and uploaded this PDF that you see here, right? Which is their Indian independence. You can upload 10 PDF files, 20 PDF files, whatever, right? Let's say you want to take a topic, geography. These are all the PDF files. Upload 10 PDF files. Now, once that is done, right, it does a lot of magic. Okay, NotebookLM is free, right, up to a certain number of files, right? There is some limit. It's actually free for all students worldwide, but India it still hasn't come. But you can check out; they might have made it free. Okay, the paid version, which is what I use, is about 130 rupees per month. So it is definitely it's nothing, right? 130 rupees a month. Many of you can even club it together and do it, but what it can do is magic, right? Now I'll go to this audio overview, video overview, right? But let's see. So some of the things it can do is let's click on mind map. In fact, I've already created the mind map, so we'll look at that. So upload any data you want. It can actually create a mind map for you. And this is almost instantaneous, okay? Rise of extremist Pona, it'll go and build this up. You can do this in like 3 seconds. Upload the PDF, the mind map gets created instantaneously, right? This is super useful in history, polity, whatever, right? Even science and technology, it's super useful. So that is number one. I want all of you to start going and trying it out. You can at least do it for a few PDF files today. 2, it can do flashcards. Oh, okay, actually I've already generated everything. I don't want to. So this is a quick quiz, right? So it does this pretty much in like 5 to 10 seconds. We'll upload one file and then we'll see how this works, right? So now I can go and answer a question, right? And then it'll tell me, and then I can go next. Or it might ask me 12 questions. You can ask me 20 questions, 30 questions. So if you want to quickly revise a subject, it's brilliant, right? It'll come and like do a quiz for you. You can do this in ChatGPT as well, but either it's a slightly more interactive interface where it takes you to a quiz, right? So we have seen a mind map being created, which you can use. You can take a printout, stick it in your room, so it can help you. We have seen quizzes being generated. What else can it do? Let's go and have a look. Okay. I think we saw mind map. So either it can also, I wonder what this is. Yeah, it can create these flashcards as well, right? So if you see the flashcards, I'm just seeing where the flashcards are. Yeah. Right. So these are nothing but flashcards. You can keep flipping it. So before you go to sleep, there are 45 cards, right? It'll ask you a question. You can see the answer, and then you'll be able to. Again, I did nothing. It took me 5 seconds to create it. We're going to use it, do the NCRT textbook and see, right? So introduction of Macaulay's education system in 1853 led to the creation of a new. What's the answer? See, when you go and write the UPSC exam, if you whisper, you won't get marks. You have to tell it loud. What's the answer? Middle class educated in English. I don't know if that's really the correct answer, but anyway. What is the significance of the 1857 revolt in the context of Indian nationalism? It was the first major uprising. Yeah, so it gives you these flashcards. Flashcards, again, is just going to help you memorize these things. Okay. So we saw flashcards, we saw a mind map, we saw, I think, a quiz, correct? So now let's go and see what else it can do, because there are a few things it does which are going to be like very, very fascinating for you, right? It can actually do a audio podcast. Apana, I've uploaded something. Let's assume that I've uploaded a 20-page document. It can do an audio podcast. Let's try to see.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling
Can they hear it? Can make it louder.
something huge. India's independence movement. We're talking nearly 2 centuries, right? From 1757 all the way to 1947.
It's a massive span of time, absolutely.
And we've been digging into some really detailed historical notes, trying to
This is what makes this interesting, right? You're hearing two people speak. So what it does is it takes your content. It could be history, geography, polity, whatever, right? And converts it into an audio podcast as if two people are talking to each other. And that helps you assimilate all this. So it's really fascinating, right? Now assume you don't even want English, okay? It will also do it in Tamil. Oops, print.
வணக்கம். நீங்க கொடுத்திருக்கிற குறிப்புகளை வச்சு இன்னைக்கு நாம இந்தியாவோட சுதந்திர போராட்டத்தை பத்தி கொஞ்சம் ஆழமா பார்க்க போறோம். ரொம்ப நீண்ட பயணம் அது. சுமார் 200 வருஷம். ஆமா, 1757ல ஆரம்பிச்சு 1940.
அவ்வளவுதான். இது வந்து ஒரு 13-minute podcast, right? So it is just fascinating, right? It takes to create this audio podcast. It takes about 20 to 25 seconds. We'll quickly try it out. Right? So it's really fascinating what can do, right? So if you heard an audio podcast, you can just listen to it while sleeping. Take a topic, listen to it, and sleep. It'll get into your mind, right? But then it did something else, which blew my mind away, right? Now I work in AI. I've been working on AI for the last many years, like I told you, right? I develop AI systems for some of the world's largest companies. But then it did something. It took about 5 minutes to do this, which really blew my mind away, right? And I'm going to like show that to you. This.
All right, let's dive into one of history's most...
Okay, I think I stopped it by mistake. Let's see. Oh, this is the thing. So, sir, if I show them a tool which none of them have seen before, it is called NotebookLM. Okay, so now I've just taken a very simple PDF file. And the PDF file has India's independence pati. I've just uploaded. Okay, it has a timeline. So my India independence detail or UPSC notes Mari I've uploaded, right? So upload pannakapara, it has done a few things. In like within like a few seconds, right? It has created a mind map for me. Just a few seconds, that's it. So I can use this, I can print it out, I can understand, what exactly, this is just one simple topic, right? That is number one. Then it has done a quiz for me, which is standard. ChatGPT can also do it, even though it's done it in a slightly better way. I can go and click on it, it'll give me the answer, I've done it, right? Which is fairly standard. It has also done a flashcards, it has created there. Right? So it can, I'll just try to maximize it, right? It'll ask me a few questions and then I can answer it. It has done it, right? So in the flashcards, more of quiz or a chronology mind map. But then I just showed them a few things to right now, right? It takes the content, it makes that into
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling something huge. India's independence movement. We're talking nearly 2 centuries, right? From 1757 all the way to 1947.
It's a massive span of time, absolutely.
And we've been digging into some really detailed...
So the content editor, it makes it like a conversation between two people, right? So now we can understand it faster because now we are hearing it like one interview, one conversation between two people. So that is only in English, but the same thing it does in Tamil as well.
வணக்கம். நீங்க கொடுத்திருக்கிற குறிப்புகளை வச்சு இன்னைக்கு நாம இந்தியாவோட சுதந்திர போராட்டத்தை பத்தி கொஞ்சம் ஆழமா பார்க்க போறோம். ரொம்ப நீண்ட பயணம் அது. சுமார் 200 வருஷம். ஆமா, 1757ல
So இது வந்து தமிழ்லயும் பண்ண, it can do it in all Hindi, Marathi, all languages it can do, right? நான் PDF upload பண்ணி to create those quizzes and it takes only a few seconds. Audio takes about 30 seconds and it has to go through it and then seconds. But then if I was just showing them, it also creates a video. Okay, maybe look at the video.
All right, let's dive into one of history's most epic stories, India's long road to freedom. We're talking about a journey that spans nearly 200 years, and it's absolutely packed with dramatic rebellions.
I didn't create these images, right? It has created these images, and it has created a 6-minute video. I mean, I didn't create it. And you saw the input file. The input file had any of these things? It had a 1757, 1853, but did it have any of these images? It didn't have, right? So this is the new either where it's creating a video just from a simple PDF file of 13 pages where all the content is there. So if you take any topic that you want to read, right? If you use Penny, you can really, understand this topic. Now, just put the podcast and then sleep. It will get into your, right? Of course, if you want to have a more visual thing, you can do this, right? So now we are at a phase where you can, create very good collaterals, right? Out of as long as you have a PDF file or Word file, you can just upload it and so either one. This is called NotebookLM. It is by Google, and it is for students. It's actually supposed to be free, right? Even if you want to have a paid version, it's about 130 rupees per month. That's it, right? But I've also told the students, right? See, remember, this is your primary is to come to the classroom. Your primary is to look through all your notes and lessons and books that you have. This should be used purely for revising. This is purely be used as a supplemental material, which is going to help you understand everything again and again and again, right? Because AI can give wrong information, right? Because AI is based on whatever is trained. AI can give you, so don't blindly follow that, hey, it told me this is the answer. In the flashcard and a Quizlet, it gave this as an answer. Never take that, even though there's a quiz created, right? It can give a wrong answer as well. Make sure that you're using your class books, class notes and stuff, but use this only as a supplemental, right? If you have PDFs of class notes, you can use it, right? Just to learn. Okay. Any questions? Is this exciting? Is this something that you're planning to? How many of you want to go and use this today? Okay, very good, right? So NotebookLM is a great tool, and do try to use it. I'll very quickly show you every use panel, right? It's very simple. All you need to do is go and say create notebook. Okay. Inga, you just need to upload a file. So if I'm going to upload in the political science NCRT class 11. Right? I've just uploaded. It'll take some time to upload it. After I upload it, inga audio overview, what language I want it in, video overview, mind map, reports, flashcards. I just need to click on it once it's uploaded, and it gets generated. Like I said, flashcards, quiz, mind map takes barely seconds, right? Audio overview, 30 seconds. Video overview, I mean, it has to generate all those fancy illustrations and stuff, right? It takes about 5 minutes to do. Right? But that's all it takes. So, and you can upload multiple PDFs as well. Okay. So is this clear? What is your, so let's quickly look at this, right? Let's just do a mind map. Right? Or let's do a quiz. Right? It'll take a bit more time, and it's a slightly larger book, right? But what's the most difficult subject you have? Where do you struggle? Sorry? Polity. Okay, so Lakshmikant. And is that the book which, right? So what you can do is you can just upload. For example, here it's created, right? This is, I think, the NCRT political science textbook. It's created a beautiful mind map which you can use, right? So you can go and start. You can upload. My recommendation, the best way to use this is if you have that Lakshmikant PDF, don't upload the whole thing, right? Upload chapter by chapter, right? Go to split PDF. There's a tool online. Just chapter by chapter, you go through it and then do it, right? So in that way, slowly you can become a master of some of the chapters, right? I think that's the way you should use this. So, but I think it's a brilliant, this is something I recommend to a lot of the other, now I go and teach a lot of other subjects, right? AI for business and product management. Okay, sure. So, இது இப்போ மைண்ட் மேப் பார்த்துட்டோம். ஃப்ளாஷ் கார்ட்ஸ் பார்க்கலாம். எல்லா டாபிக்ஸும் வந்துடும் இல்ல. ஸோ இப்போ it says constitution, how it works in the 4. We can now go to all the other topics. Let's take making of the Indian Constitution. Right? It keeps going. So it's more of a mind map. Right? It may not be perfect. Right? So don't, oh, this is the mind map, I'll follow this. It may not be perfect. Some things will be perfect, some things it won't be. Because if you look at the, this is the textbook I've uploaded, right? NCRT. So, how is it able to capture this, structure this, organize this? It may not be perfect. So, keep that in mind when you go and use the mind maps and stuff. But Michidala, if you look at quizzes, I think it does a pretty good job. Right? So, if we go to quizzes. Right, since all of you said it's a tough subject. According to source material, what is the first and most fundamental function of a constitution? A, B, C, D. Pakla. Quick test for all of you. Huh? Question is, according to the source material, which is that NCRT textbook, what is the first and most fundamental function of a constitution for a society, C? Lock kiya jaye? Oh, it's wrong. It's B. Right? So you can go and quickly check out all these things. Right? So it is very quick. Either way, it'll also tell you where you stand. Take a quick quiz on any topic, see where you stand and stuff. Some things it may not do very well. Right? For example, nare images it may not read it. It's still the technology is evolving. But then some things it does well. So keep that in mind. The quiz functionality is pretty good. The flashcards functionality was pretty good. Of course, audio overview, I really like audio overview. So now audio overview, if I'm going to go and talk about a topic, right? Now, what I do is, I just put it in a PDF and I'm going to a college to talk, right? So then I upload it here, get the audio thing, and then I download it on my phone and then I play it while driving. So now I know what exactly I'm going to talk about. Or in a conversation where two people are talking, it keeps reminding me of what I'm supposed to talk about, right? So try to use this to your advantage, right? And either it's not only students, everybody can use it, right? Professionals in the company, we all use it. Companies worldwide use it. Educators can use it. Even politicians can use this, right? To their advantage, NotebookLM, right? And it covers all languages, right? It's not only Indian languages. It covers pretty much every language in the world. If you look at this, I can choose any language, right? Afrikaans, Filipino, all these languages. I can create an audio podcast as well as a video podcast. And I can even tell you, now deep dive mode because I want to understand this topic. Only then I'll be able to understand. But you can also have more of a brief overview, critical overview, debate. Do you want a shorter length? You want a longer length? Based on how much time you want, it can also do that. Right? So it's actually fascinating what this can do. Use it to your advantage. That's what I'm going to tell. Okay. Any questions? Okay, so all of you are going to, NotebookLM is going to see a lot of Lakshmikant PDFs being uploaded today. Okay, all right. Okay, great. So now let's go back. This is just one tool. Right? Now let's go back and then see the various ways in which something like even ChatGPT can be used, right? So let's start off with what has it been trained on, right? It's pretty much been trained on everything, right? Your UPSC syllabus, your current affairs, your geography, environment, ecology, science of technology, everything ChatGPT has been trained on, right? But remember, ChatGPT is not the only thing. You have ChatGPT, you have Gemini, you have Claude, you have Perplexity, right? How many of you prefer ChatGPT out of these four? Okay, good. How many of you prefer Gemini? Okay. How many of you use this as an app and not on your laptop? Okay. Okay, most of you are using it as an app. How many of you use Perplexity? Very good. Built by a Chennai boy, so we need to encourage Perplexity for sure, right? And how many of you use Claude? See, Claude, out of these four, I won't recommend Claude. Claude is more of English language, it's like very good writing. But if you want UPSC, my personal experience has been ChatGPT, right? And then maybe Gemini to some extent. It's like really good. Just stick with both of these. Okay. So now let's go to what are all the various ways in which you can use, right? If we've already seen, I started off by talking about NotebookLM. I think that covers a lot of aspects. But ways in which you can use this AI tools, number one is any query, right? 3 a.m. in the morning you are studying, right? And you have a doubt. Can you call up a faculty in KingMakers? No, right? You have to wait till 9 a.m. the next day. But then you can now go and say, hey, I have a doubt related to this. This was the prelims question from 2021, and it says this is the answer, but I don't know. Maybe I feel this is the answer, right? You can go and ask that question, right? So any query support, it'll be able to answer, right? Of course, creating quizzes, mock tests, we saw that. Essay and answer writing assistant, we'll see that quickly, right? Mains, how it will work. Creation of study plans. So either this is I think the first thing you should do, right? You should go and ask ChatGPT or any AI tool, this is my background. This is my second attempt, right? My strengths are ecology, science and technology. My weaknesses are geography. Can you please put together a study plan? It'll tell you what you should study, what should you, how NCERT textbooks, Tamil Nadu state textbooks, right, which are fantastic, right? It'll give you a very, very good study plan. And a lot of the students have said this really works out well, okay? Of course, summary generation, this is something you can use if you just want to summarize. We already saw that. Interviews more, right? It can actually help you prepare for the interview. This is the question, this is the answer, can you help me out, right? So we'll quickly look at some of those examples, of course, creation of flashcards and stuff. So let's take a few sample UPSC questions and see how this works, okay? So the question is, what do you understand by nanotechnology and how is it helping in health sector? Right? If this is the question you've got, right? Now you want to use AI to get an answer. This is where the number one kind of way in which you're going to use AI is going to be helpful. That is something called prompt engineering or prompting. Many people are not able to use AI well because they don't know how to prompt. Right? For anything, any question I have, right, I should know how to prompt. I should know how to ask the question. Now, my example, and I'm partner, there's a big library, there's somebody sitting there, we're going to go and ask them a question. If you randomly ask that person in the library, you're not going to get the answer. So the thing is, how am I going to prompt? So can anybody here volunteer and tell me, how will you write the prompt for this? It's a UPSC mains GS3 question. What will be the prompt you will give when you open up your Gemini app or your app? Anybody? Somebody from this, yeah. Okay, so full prompt is what? Full prompt is there was a question which came in the UPSC exam. You need to tell it, right? UPSC exam. Clearer, you should tell. Don't assume that it knows who you are, you're preparing. Clearly tell it. There was a question which came in the UPSC exam in the mains paper in 2020, which stated, what do you understand by nanotechnology and how is it helping in health sector? Can you please tell me what would be the best way to answer this question, right? Now, we spoke about what it will have access to. Does it have access to my office address? Does it have access to a PowerPoint slide I prepared and showed my boss yesterday? No. So do you think it might have access to the topper's answer for this? I mean, we don't know, right? Somebody, a topper might have put it, right? But it may not necessarily have access to the topper's answer for this, right? So you need to ask it accordingly, right? So here, I mean, this is one simple way. A lot of people will say, what do you understand by non-AI technology? How is it helping, right? Answer in the, so this is the prompt, by the way. This is how big your prompt needs to be. It cannot be, hey, nanotechnology, right? So answer in the following format, keeping in mind that this is for the mains exam of the UPSC exam, right? Introduction, body, because I'm guessing this is how you would have been taught, right? How do you answer that particular question? Keep the answer India specific, right? No use going and having something about how China is using it or Finland is using it, right? It has to be India specific, other than they're expecting in your UPSC answers, right? And then answer in 150 to 70 words. So keep in mind the most important thing if you're going to get something from AI is to understand how to ask it the question, right? If she was going and talking to her friend, right? It's very simple. And a nanotechnology question can answer every. If her friend was one of the toppers, then you will get a proper answer. But ChatGPT is your friend, but it is not a human, right? So it doesn't know your background, it doesn't know, everything. So you have to ask in this particular way. So long prompts are helpful provided you write it in a very constructive way, right? So keep that in mind. That's number one, right? So let's look at the second one, notes. Okay. So is there any interesting mains question that you got? We'll quickly see what ChatGPT answers. Any interesting topic mains questions? We'll go into a live thing. Has to be something interesting. Is there any mains? Have you gone through any mains questions? Okay, tell me a topic other than polity. We'll get a mains question. You don't know the syllabus? Give me some topic. Center-state relations. Okay. Were there any questions on center-state relations that came in the UPSC mains paper? Okay, so now it's going to try to, we're picking up the question now, right? That's what we're doing. So it's going through all these websites, right? We'll look through some of these websites, padai.com and stuff. So there was a question, examine the evolving pattern of center-state financial relations in the context of plan development, right? So this was a question that came. And it's going to give you all the questions that came. Right? So now, how do I answer this question? What will be the prompt you will write? This is the question. Question is, examine the evolving pattern of center-state financial relations in the context of planned development in India. How far have the recent reforms impacted fiscal federalism in India? Okay. Any of you are experts, you want to answer this question on your own? Or shall we try to ask ChatGPT? What will be the prompt you will give? So many people, what they'll do is they'll put this and they'll say, what is the answer? Right? This is not the way you should write it. Right? You should go and, right? The above is a question that came in the UPSC mains paper in 2025, right? Help me draft an ideal answer which conforms to the expectations. I mean, you can write it in expectations of the, UPSC, right? Now, if it knows that whole introduction, body, conclusion format, it will give it in that way, right? Or we can tell it, right? Please write it using the introduction, body, conclusion format. Okay. So now it's going to hopefully give me an answer, right? Which is, so this is what is given, right? So introduction, it's saying center-state financial relations are anchored in constitutional provisions, have continuously evolved to balance national development. Then very neatly, right, evolution of financial relations from early decades till now, the impact of the recent reforms on fiscal federalism, and then a very nice conclusion, right? So this is the way you need to use it. Again, keep in mind, right? Don't think, oh, this is the answer, let me memorize this answer. This is only telling you how you should approach it. The way I will look at this is very neatly, right? It has broken down this body, right? How exactly I talk about the evolution and talk about the impact. Evolution, very good introduction, evolution, impact, conclusion, right? In the 250 word format, right? So this is the way you need to use it, right? You can also ask, great, do you have these, like she asked, right? The toppers answer for this question, right? So we'll find out. Maybe some topper has gone and published this on somewhere on the internet and stuff, right? I couldn't locate a publicly verified topper's answer sheet, right? So you're not going to get the topper's answer, but you can at least get these kinds of answers. Okay. So this is for mains. Is this, I mean, useful? Do you think you're going to be able to use this? Okay. So now let's look at creating notes, right? So this is about local governance. So anything, right? You take any topic, go and tell it, this is a topic and I want to know how to, I want notes created for this, right? That NotebookLM also did it, but this will do it better because this is more detailed. NotebookLM, like I said, there will be some, it's still evolving tech, right? But this will do it really well. So is there any quick topic? We'll create the notes for it. You gave a topic. Any other topic? Huh? Indus Valley. Fantastic. Okay. I love all questions about history. Like Sir said, history is a big passion of mine, right? So, okay, now you said Indus Valley. Tell me what prompt. Because it's all about prompting, right? What prompt are you going to give? Is this your first attempt? Okay. So I have just started preparing for the UPSC. Okay, so what you need is some pretty basic notes, right? I want some notes created on the Indus Valley civilization. Okay, anything else you want to put? Why don't you also say, can you also include questions about the Indus Valley which have come in the last 20 years, either in prelims or mains, right? So now you can cover everything about Indus Valley, right? So it gives a very nice introduction, sources of information, features, economy, right? Craft, society, religion. So all of this, again, it's not very detailed if you see. So next question, can you like give me more details and stuff, right? But it tells the important sites and all of that, right? But then this is where, right? To what extent the Indus Valley civilization differed from contemporary civilizations? From the notes, you can't get the answer. So you need to have a holistic view of all history to talk about other civilizations, right? So now you can say, how should I answer this question? What are the other civilizations I should be, I should know about and all of that, right? So it gives you prelims questions. You can go and convert this prelims into a multiple choice thing on NotebookLM, and then you can go and ask those questions as well, right? But it's very helpful, right? You can also do a one-page micro note sheet. So this is another new feature which has come, right? So I can say I want flashcards, I want a 10-page GS1 ready note, I want a test. So if I say, great, I want the MCQs. What it'll do is it'll create the MCQs, right? Like it's give you the answer and stuff. Can you give this to me in Word, right? Then it'll actually create it in Word and also give it to you. All of that can also happen, right? And then you download the Word and then you can use, right? So this is the way you need to use it. So number one, you need to have patience. Don't talk like you're talking to a friend. ChatGPT is not your friend, right? It's here to help you. Give as much the information about you, right? See, he probably doesn't like history in school, right? So he probably needs a bit more help with Indus Valley civilization, right? If I were to ask, I'll ask it a different way. Tell me the most complex questions on Indus Valley civilization. Maybe I'm attempting for the 5th time and I've already know a lot about history, right? So So that's the way you should ask it. So if she's asking it in one way, Tamil Selvan asking it cannot be the same. It has to be slightly different, right? But here, what is really done is done a word. Okay, so it'll open up the word, and then you have all the questions. So now you can just open up a folder and then store all of this. But I want to repeat what I'm probably repeated again, right? I use AI for a lot of things at work. It is not 100% accurate, right? So make sure, don't like, you know what, AI told me the Indus Valley script is generally pictographic, right? So don't go and write that in exam. Always verify with all the books that you get here. Always verify with the notes from class. Always verify with other sources. Don't think that anything that AI is told is absolutely correct. Right? Keep that in mind, because even as part of my work, when I use AI for my work, I always check, double check, triple check, and it will make mistakes. Right? There's a concept called hallucination. Have you heard of that? Right? So because this is still evolving technology, right? So there's a lot of hallucination. So don't like AI told me this is the way to write an answer. AI told me this is the answer to the prelims. No, right? Make sure that you're very
100% whatever the questions and the answer it has come, it is perfectly matching with the answers and questions.
Yep.
But so far, we have not seen any mistakes so far.
Yep.
And moreover, it has taken only from the previous year questions.
Yep.
Each and every question is set on par with the UPSC, and the answer also is very accurate. And most of the time, the questions it has come only from this particular area.
Exactly.
And one question it has taken from the script, another question it has taken from the seals,
exactly.
Another question it has taken from the great walk, something like granaries, something like that.
Exactly. Yeah. It is very. I mean, the only reason I keep repeating it is even ChatGPT can make mistakes. Check important info. I'm only giving you the giving you the disclaimer, right? 1 in 1,000 times it might give you a mistake, right? But I'm not trying to say it's bad. I'm just saying this is a disclaimer, right? Because you should not be like, hey, this is what ChatGPT said. I answered everything in prelims. I'm not getting selected to mains, right? So this is the way you need to look at it. Okay. So let's go on and look at a few other scenarios, right? Where you can. So we now looked at notes, right? We saw Indus Valley. This is obviously local governance and stuff, right? This is more for a teacher, right? I think I'll skip this. Now, let's assume that I want to summarize, right, a very large document. Like I told you, we are learning about how to use AI, but AI is also an important topic. You're going to go and see more and more questions about AI coming, right? In prelims, in mains, in your interview, they'll come and ask you, right? I was just telling them, right? Now in Nashik, I met a few IAS officers, right, as part of something, and they're talking about how they're using AI, right? So the Kumbh Mela happens in 4 places, right? Can you tell me where all it happens? Prayagraj, okay. You can get this question in prelims, you should know it, right? Does it happen in Ujjain, Nashik? And I mean, it also happens, I think, in Haridwar. There are 4 places. Of course, everybody only knows Prayagraj because that is the most, the biggest. But Nashik also it happens. But even it happens in Nashik also, there's a lot of crowd. So now they're using AI for a lot of things. How do I see if there's a lot of crowd, right? How do I ensure, right? There's no stampede, right? So immediately AI will detect that the density of people is a lot. It'll immediately alert the police, they'll go there, right? So it's doing a lot of very, very interesting things, right? In terms of, so a lot of IAS officers are now learning about AI so they can use it. So all the more reason you're going to be asked a lot of questions. So we look at this. This is a very fascinating thing. So about 6 years ago, right, we came up with this national strategy for artificial intelligence, right? It's a bit outdated, but we have not come up with a more recent national strategy, right? But this was a strategy that we had come up with. So now I want to, it's too big of a file, right? So if you look at this is about, how big is it? It's about, I'm going to guess, okay, I've actually already slimmed it. I've only made it like 5 pages. But the original national strategy is much bigger, about 200, 300 pages. So I can go and upload any file I want, and I can get a summary out of it, right? What are the key things? We already saw that in NotebookLM, but we can also do it here. So let's say I go to ChatGPT, and I can just upload the file. Okay, I think I just need to close this. Can I just close this file? Yeah, so I can just close this and I can just say, please summarize. Yeah, so anybody wants to tell me what prompt I can give? Please summarize and make notes. Include, what else? Include sample questions on AI that might come in prelims, right? Or UPSC interview, right? So again, it kind of gives you all this, it does a pretty decent job in summarizing and stuff. But then it starts asking you, it gives you some questions as well, right? So it at least gives you a good introduction. You can say, make it more detailed, right? Usually it'll start off with, right? But then it gives you answers, right? So doesn't give you like A, B, C, D, right? 1 and 2, that's the standard way in which you're getting some of these questions, right? So which of the following sectors are priority sectors for India's national strategy for AI? Right? So all of this, so it does a pretty good job, right? There are two ways in which you can use it. You can actually tell it, just use the document I've uploaded, right? But in this case, or you can go and change the setting, right? Also use the internet information. So it's also using other information on the internet and then trying to come and do it, right? So any topic, upload it, get questions, or don't upload anything, ask it to do research and then ask questions as well. Okay. So, so this is one. I'll now going to like show you something called a study mode. So this study mode is a new mode which came up about 3-4 months ago, by which I can take any topic in the world and it will become my teacher. Okay, so this is the prompt I can give, right? So I don't want to give polity because we've already used that topic too many times. Any other topic you guys want to give? Sorry? Economy, okay. So what I need to do is I need to go here. It's very interesting how it's going to do this. I go and say, enable study mode. Okay, I'm preparing for UPSC. Teach me the topic economic, right? That I need to know for the exam. Okay. Then I tell it, start with an overview, then break it into subtopics, give simple explanations, provide examples, add previous years, and quiz me at the end. So when you go into study mode, it is not like 1 minute or 2 minutes. You need to be ready to sit for at least 1 hour because it will really teach you very well. Okay, so we'll quickly go through this. So now you have told economics. It's enable the study mode and saying this is the structure we will follow. Okay. It starts off with an overview and says, this is what you need to know, how the Indian economy works, budget, taxation, external sector. And it says it's going to ask you conceptual and application-based questions. Okay. And then it goes into the major subtopics, right? Everything that so now it's still at the topics, right? It has not gone beyond that and stuff. Once you have gone through all, so what is happening is like in a classroom, right? Where you start off with this is the topics and everything. It will slowly give you a quick quiz, right? And then it'll make you answer, right? It'll also tell you can send the answers for all these questions. I will like evaluate it and give it back to you, right? If I say no, right? Actually, let's move to the next chapter. Now it'll start off by talking about the next chapter, right? Which is the inflation and monetary policy. So like that, one by one, it goes through all the chapters, right? In between, I can go and tell it, I don't understand. Can you elaborate on wholesale? What is wholesale? Price index, right? I couldn't understand. I couldn't understand what is WPI. Can you elaborate rate, and explain. Okay. So one of the chapters I didn't understand anything. And it says, of course, let me explain what is WPI. It goes, tells you what is WPI, why WPI. So like a teacher, it kind of guides you. So if there is a topic, economics, right? Agree that you're going to like spend at least 2 hours, then sit down, start at 10 o'clock in the night. By 1 o'clock, at least you'll have a pretty good idea of what all these things. They'll give you mini quizzes and stuff. So study mode is a very powerful mode. Right? I use study mode, right? I'm using it to learn about technologies which I don't know. Right? There are a lot of new things that are happening on technology. So I go and tell it, hey, I'm not able to understand agentic AI. Can you help me understand it? And then after like 2-3 hours, I really knew what is agentic AI. I said, I don't understand this new, data breaks, Snowflake. It kind of teaches me how to, understand that very well. Right? So study mode is a new feature which has come in. It's about like 3 or 4 months. And including UPSC topics, it does a pretty good mode. Right? Of course, you can choose not to go into study mode. Study mode will keep on going. You can just ask individual questions as well, but this is a very powerful one that you can use. Okay. So for all of you who have a fear of history, for all of you who have a fear of polity, get into study mode, right? And then do it patiently. I think that's the way you should do it. Okay. Any questions till now? By how many hours were you using ChatGPT for on a daily basis? Hardly 1 hour. Okay, good. Do you think that'll increase now? Good. So, I mean, use it the right way. I mean, that's what I'll say. I know many people use it, but use it the right way, right? How do I use prompts? Now you know about NotebookLM, you know about study mode. How do I use both of these effectively, right? That's the way you should actually have a look at it. Again, so then we'll, one of the great things that you can also do is to evaluate the answer that you have written. Okay. So this is an answer question. What is India's plan to have its own space station? How will it benefit our space program? Okay. This is the answer I actually have written. I want to know whether this is a good answer or not. Right? Because ultimately, see, prelims is simple, right? A, B, C, D, E, you choose. But then in mains, you are starting to write answers. But how do you know you have written the right way? We know the introduction, body, conclusion, but how do you know? So now you can take the answer. So this is the answer I wrote. Right? I can just copy this answer. And then I can go and tell it, you know what? Can you evaluate this? So what prompt will I give? Who wants to volunteer? What is the prompt I will give for evaluating? Any answers? This is the answer I've given. What prompt? Tell me that you guys, you're going to start prompting, right? So you should at least have some way of what you're going to prompt. Okay, this is the answer. You're going to go and ask a friend கிட்ட போய் கேட்க போறீங்க. Friend கிட்ட போய் என்ன கேட்பீங்க? Your friend is already cracked UPSC. எப்படின்னு கேட்பீங்க? இந்த ஆன்சர் எழுதி இருக்கிறேன், இது கரெக்டா, இதுக்கு மார்க்ஸ் கிடைக்குமா, கரெக்டா, ரைட்? ஸோ அதே மாதிரி how will you ask ChatGPT? This is the answer I have written for a mains question where I was asked to explain about India's space mission, right?
UPSC CSC mains.
UPSC, yeah, correct. So that's pointed out, right? It won't know what is mains, right? Because eventually you'll figure out you're preparing, but you need to be very pointed, right? UPSC CSC mains question. Can you evaluate it and let me know if it matches expectations and give me suggestions for how I can improve the answer, right? So think this way, right? Don't go and just say, hey, is this a good answer? Don't ever say that, right? Be very clear, right? You can even say, right, I'm writing mains for the 3rd time, right? This is the way so it'll even keep that in mind when it evaluates, correct? So now it's going to come and say overall evaluation 10 to 11 on 50. Clearly my answer was not great, right? So the content is rich, relevant, sure, but you have covered all of this thing, you're covered. But the answer is not structured in the UPSC format. It reads like a long descriptive essay, which reduces crispness and impact. Right? So that answer clearly has some work to do. Right? It's saying, it starts off with, நல்லா தான் பண்ணீங்க, நல்லா தான் இருக்கிற comprehensive coverage user, right? But then it is missing their introduction body conclusion. I've not written it that way, right? Too long and descriptive, right? UPSC wants crisp, direct, and point-wise answers, right? Your answer jumps straight into the details, right? It's saying it's missing. So they're probably expecting, right? You have to talk about Gaganyaan. You have to talk about the Bharatiya Antariksha Station. All of that you should know. Only if you have read all of that, you'll be able to include it, correct? How will you know all of this if you're going to read what every day? You read the newspaper, right? Only then you're going to get to know all of this, right? There was repetition of points. So it's done a very, very good analysis, right? So this is the way, especially when you're preparing for mains, please use it. Very good, right? It comes and tells you this is how you should do it, this is how you should not. Then it tells you how do you improve your answer, right? Convert all points and all of that. It gives you, it is actually very, very useful, especially for mains. You should go and see a question, write an answer, go and ask it, right? If you do that for like 25 different mains questions, then you will only start getting 13 or 14 or 15, right? Right now I was getting 10 or 11. So that is the way you should like leverage this, right? And then go through what all it's saying, right? Saying, you missed this, you should have a way forward, like especially conclusion, right? That needs to leave an impact on the examiner. Right? And that's the reason you need to have a very, very powerful conclusion. That's what is going to really help you, right? And then finally it tells it, right? So it even asks you, do you want me to rewrite? Yes, please rewrite. Right? So now what will happen is it'll now rewrite it for me and it will show it. Okay. So this is the way you need to utilize. Okay. Use to your advantage. It's a great technology, a great tool. You need to be patient with it. You need to know how to prompt, right? Prompting, please learn the technique of prompting. That's how you're going to really use it. Of course, try all these NotebookLM and other tools as well. Okay. We'll quickly cover a few things, right? I think this is more of leveraging. So there are a few other tools as well, right? UPSC.ai, Pad.ai, superkalam.com, collectorbabu.com, right? So UPSC.ai, it's pretty good, right? But remember that all these tools, UPSC.ai, Pad.ai, superkalam.com, and collectorbabu.com, they're there because they're trying to get some money out of you, right? So you need to pay some money in order to use some of these. They have taken, at the end of the day, ChatGPT or a Gemini and written a software which is utilizing them to go and do certain things. My personal recommendation to you is, you don't need to necessarily go to any of these, right? It is not required at all, right? Going to UPSC AI or Pad.ai and stuff. The only thing which today you cannot do using ChatGPT, Gemini is having a mock interview, right? You can actually record the answer to a question, upload it, there are a lot of tools by which you can analyze it. But having that experience of an AI asking you a question, you answering, that some of these tools they're providing, which people can use, right? But even in ChatGPT, you can type. So right now, ChatGPT, Gemini are still text-based, right? You'll have to type out the question, type out the answer, right? You can do a speech to text, that you can do, right? But then it's not a conversational thing. Very soon that will also happen, right? In the US, that already happens. In the US, I know people who are using it for interview preparation. They're going to interview in a Microsoft, going to interview in a Google. They're using it for interview preparation, right? But right now in India, it is not there. That is the only thing I'll say. If there's an AI tool which is going to help you with personality test, do it. But otherwise, there's no reason for you to do any of these, right? I mean, I've gone and checked out UPSC.ai. All of that is good, not bad and stuff. But I think for now, stick with these free tools. No need to go and like get any of those other tools as well, right? But then what you really need, and I'll share this with the team, right? And they can really circulate this. What you really need is, how do I use it on a daily basis? And this is pretty much a daily guide, right? So morning routine asks for a daily current affairs summary. Okay. Get notes from the Hindu, Indian Express, and all of that. Right. Create prelims facts. So this is basically, for example, give me today's news in one page, prelims facts, but main analysis plus quotes plus data. So I'll share this cheat sheet, right? So it has NCRT, how do you use it, prelims practice, mains answer writing, optional subject support, current affairs consolidation. For everything, try to use this is more of a rundown of how exactly you can use ChatGPT, right? So this is one file. And then this is the prompt library, right? Like I said, prompt is very important. Try to use some of these prompts and then try to see what you're going to get out of it. My recommendation is make it more detailed. I still feel this is not very detailed prompts, but this is just more indicative, right? Make it more detailed, give you a background and stuff, right? So this is the way you should be using it, because it's a great tool, it's a great technology, right? It has all the information, right? Whatever information. Going back to a library example, all the UPSC question papers, books, everything is there in the library. It has read all of it. It has read all of it very quickly and is continuing to read. Every day it is reading your Hindu newspaper. Right? Every day it's collecting information and it's updating itself. So it's like think of it as like a master, right, which knows all the answers. But how we use it, how we kind of ask it questions, that is where we need to become better and better. Okay, so hopefully this was helpful, right? How many of them are there online? Is there anybody online? Any questions from people online? No? Okay, any questions from here? On AI, UPSC? How many of you have already taken UPSC? This is going to be a second attempt next year. So it's going to be the first attempt next year for all of you. Okay, very good. So I mean, you have time, right? We are in November, so you have a whole world of time to now go and prepare. Try to use some of these tools to prepare, right? I mostly showed you English examples, but this can do it in Tamil also, right? So go use ChatGPT in whatever language you feel comfortable with and stuff. Of course, NotebookLM, please use it. As you can see, it's very powerful. Use it to your advantage. Okay. Any questions? No questions? Yep.
Thank you so much. Okay. You spoke about NotebookLM. It's all about the standard books which you upload, the NCRTs or. So what if I upload my note? Because you told that's my primary source, the note which is from the classroom. So will it give me a consolidated one, video, podcast?
Absolutely.
My notes.
Absolutely. See, NotebookLM, it is not using the other database, right? It is actually using whatever you're uploading. So now example, in the example commission, this in the detailed notes, this is not a book, right? Even these are just notes. I just randomly generated these notes.
We wanted the handwritten notes, whether we later read it.
Handwritten notes, huh? Okay, fantastic. You have anything? You have a picture of a handwritten notes? Yeah, so the answer to that question is yes, right? Now, these new models that have come out. Okay, great. Okay. You. I photo scanning na better, but for the sake of simplicity, we'll take a photo. Yeah. Okay. Now, I the photo edithu mail panniten. I mailed it to my Gmail. Okay. Okay. Now it's in my Gmail. Okay, yeah. Now I'm going to save this image. Preferences, you scan it using an Adobe Reader, but now I'm going to put it as handwritten notes. Okay. Now I'm going to go to NotebookLM. Okay. I go and say create notebook. Upload. For handwritten. Okay. It is not showing this to me because it is a image. Correct? So did I download this somewhere else? Okay, let me store all. I'll store it again. Save images. Okay, I've stored it as handwritten notes. Now let me go to. So I uploaded what she has given, right? Okay, but the note had என்னன்னு பார்க்கலாம். It talked about. Oh, it already says handwritten notes outlines various aspects of the National Human Rights Commission. Is that what it was? Well, that's it.
Video. But as a video, it is converting.
Yeah, we can do video, we can do
Everything.
flashcards, quiz, everything. That's it.
So the notes completely நீங்க வந்து destroy பண்ணிட்டீங்க.
So what என்னன்னா it is இப்ப the recent or the last 1.5 2 years, right? In the model, I've used the word model, right? They use these models to basically get the data, and the handwritten the models have become very good. So like one of the use cases that I work on என்னன்னா in the retail stores எல்லாம் இருக்குல்ல, அங்க வந்து suppliers வந்து ஒரு பழமுதிர்னு வச்சுக்கோங்க, right? But I'm talking about in a different country. Suppliers எல்லாம் வந்து they like supply to all these stores. அவங்க வந்து bill எல்லாமே they'll have handwritten notes. So அது இப்போ AI automatically takes it up, it goes to the ERP, sends them a payment. முன்னாடி somebody will manually check it, it'll go and check whether it's been received. So it's able to read all of that. So the models have become very, very good. They're only going to become better. Even somebody, I mean, this handwriting was probably good. Even with the bad handwriting, you'll be able to do all of this, right? So either this is, I think, the NHRC already created a quiz. So yeah, answer your question, yes. Spelling mistakes, it does very well.
அப்படியே வரலையே. Notes அப்படியே வரலையே.
You want the
Word document. The same notes, whatever she has written, it should be there as Word document.
அதான் இங்க இருக்குல்ல, we have it here.
It's the header and it has produced its own knowledge.
Correct, yes. Ipena, what do you want, sir? You want a...
Same exact notes.
Oh, you want to convert it into it, huh?
Yes.
Okay. So convert it into digital form. Okay. I don't know, verbatim, will it do? I'm sure it does. I'll try to find out if it can do concept summary. Summarize them, it doesn't do the conversion. But I'm sure doing the conversion, I think there are a lot of other ways in which you can do. That is handwritten to digital formula. Inga vande it is only summarizing, you can ask questions and stuff. Because the options they are giving is only quiz, flashcards, reports, mind map, overview. They're not giving any other either, but it'll be able to do it. Show the other tools. So if you just want a tool which takes all your handwritten notes, digitizes, I think there are other tools which you can do it. Now, other than the Munade, it was available, right? So it has really become better now.
The tool pair மட்டும் சொன்னீங்கன்னா the students they will be.
Sure, I'll send you the list, and along with that and the prompt guide, I'll email it out.
Please.
You can just share it with all the students. That'll be very helpful. Okay, good, very good. Yeah. Any other questions? Good. Any other questions? Yeah.
CSAT paper. Aptitude.
See, there's no reason why it can't play a role, right? So, what do you think is the difficulty with CSAT?
How to give the prompt? That's a problem.
So, what is your name? Carmen. And is it the first time? First time you're going to take UPSC? Okay, hi. I am taking UPSC for the first time. I am worried about CSAT. Correct? Okay. Help me do well in it. How can you help, right? So you can give whatever. See, the thing is now it's become very empathetic and other, right? So it kind of, it's obviously talking about what CSAT is about, daily CSAT practice drills, exam simulation. You should ideally do something which I showed. What was something I showed a time ago? I showed something called study mode. So get into study mode for CSAT. Spend 3 hours. It'll really help you, right? So it kind of tells you quant, reasoning, reading comprehension, everything. It can really help you and stuff. So that study mode, few things I want all of you to keep in mind from today's session, right? One is prompting is very important. Okay, how you prompt is going to make the big difference. 2, NotebookLM is a pretty cool tool. Go and use it. 3, study mode in ChatGPT. Just go and say enable study mode for CSAT preparation. That's it, right? So we can just put that here. Enable study mode. And that's it. Leave it at that. Now it's going to tell you. It's now on, and then it's going to start. So just keep talking. Yes, good. Sometimes it'll ask you to give an answer. Sometimes you'll say no, continue, and that's it. So study mode, NotebookLM, prompting. These are the 3 main takeaways I want all of you to take from today's session. Okay?
Spoken about the website for NotebookLM. Can you show how it works? Show us how it works in an app. Because the website seems to be a little bit congested. When we see the phone, it's pretty small screen. Can you show us the app? If it could be a little more organized, it'd be easy for us to do.
So you want to use it on the phone? Okay. There's an app for NotebookLM, right? Yeah. So okay, can you show it to me? It's okay. So it is NotebookLM. A lot of people go and put NotebookLM. I hope you've not put LLM. Okay. Okay. That's it. You don't get anything else? Okay. Okay.
But it does not give the quizzes feature or the mind map or any of the ones that you showed on the website.
Okay. Now it could be that they're developing this app, and that's the reason they've not included the features. It's better to use a website, because even in the free version, I was able to generate quizzes. I was able to do all these things, even in the free one, right? So it could be that they're still developing this app, because even in create new, right? Upload your files. Yeah, I think you should just use the website for now while they develop this app. Okay. Otherwise, what's the best way to figure this out? We can go and ask ChatGPT. Is NotebookLM features different in website and the... Okay, I think, is that an iPad? Okay, that is probably the reason, right? So it just say it's different. Yeah, see the iPhone thing, it takes some time because I mean the Apple stuff. In a Google Android phone, you have a folder and files, but the folder file concept in iPad is not, or any Apple device is not great, right? So I think that's the reason it's slightly different. So because I kind of vaguely remember showing this to some other students who showed me the app and they were able to do it, but they had a Google. So check it out in a Google phone and see if it's any different, right? But I'm pretty sure that's an iPad, and that's the reason you're seeing a slightly different version of stuff. Okay. Okay. Any other questions? Yeah. But you have to upload the current affairs PDF. See, NotebookLM, you have to upload the file and then they'll give you the mind map. So create the, sorry? What? Everything they'll give, but you need to upload the source file. That's the only difference. Okay. Good. Any other questions? Good. Okay. All right. I hope this was useful and I hope you're going to incorporate this into your daily routine, right? The good news is this is only going to become better and better over time, right? So I think that's a great, I mean, we are all living in a generation and era where we're getting to see some of these revolutionary technologies, right? So it's only going to become better and better over time, right? Just think about it, right? Our handwritten notes was very seamlessly, it was able to read it and then do the same things with digital notes. So it's only going to become better and better over time. Enjoy and best of luck. I'm sure, we'll meet again, but good luck. You can always reach out to me. I'll share my contact details, and if any questions on using AI or even on AI, right? More than happy to help. Okay. Thank you so much and good luck. Thanks. Bye.
Please. Feedback with the word of thanks.
Okay.
Mic.
Oh.
Then the mic. Yes.
Oh.
I would like to show my gratitude to Bhuminathan sir for organizing this session, because this is really an eye-opening session. This really makes our work more easier and more efficient. We can save more time. Thank you for spending your valuable time here, sir. And I would like to tell all the students to make use of it and share it with other friends who are not here so that everyone can get to know about this. Thank you, sir.
We are almost at the end of the session. நார்மலாக வந்து சாரோட செஷன் வந்து எப்போவுமே வந்து பெரிய லெவலில் ஒரு இம்பேக்டை க்ரியேட் பண்ணக்கூடிய செஷன். ஒவ்வொரு செஷன்லையுமே நம்மளை வந்து ரொம்ப நாள் யோசிக்க வைக்கும். இதுவும் அப்படி தான் நிறைய பேருக்கு இருக்குன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். லைஃப்பில் நீங்கள் வாழ்க்கையில் எப்போ ஏஐ பற்றி பேசினாலும் ஒரு பர்சனாலிட்டி உங்கள் மைண்டில் வந்துட்டு போவார். அது சித்தார்த் சிவசைலம் சாராக தான் இருப்பார்னு நினைக்கிறேன். அதுவும் இந்த சிவில் சர்வீஸ் ஜேர்னியில் இன்றைக்கி நிறைய பேர் வந்து இந்த டூல் வந்து ஐஐடிஎன்ஸ் வந்து நிறைய யூஸ் பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சிருக்காங்க. ஐஐஎம் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் வந்து நிறைய யூஸ் பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சிருக்காங்க. காம்படிஷன் வந்து உங்களுக்கு தெரியும், சிவில் சர்வீஸ் எக்ஸாமினேஷனில் என்ன மாதிரியான ஒரு காம்படிஷன் இருக்குது அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு. ஸோ நம்ம டெக்னாலஜி நம்ம இன்றைக்கி யூஸ் பண்ணால் மட்டும்தான் நம்ம வந்து ஒரு பெட்டர் ரேங்க் அண்ட் பெஸ்ட் ரேங்க் வந்து வாங்க முடியும். ஐ வாஸ் டோல்டு ஈவன் இப்போ எஸ்டர்டே வந்து இந்த ப்ரிப்ரேஷனில் மெயின்ஸில் வந்து சர்வீஸ் வாங்கின நிறைய கேண்டிடேட்ஸ் வந்து இந்த முறை எனக்கு ஏஐ டூல்ஸ் வந்து ரொம்பவே ஹெல்ப்ஃபுல்லாக இருந்துச்சு அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு. ஆனால் நம்ம ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ்க்கு வந்து அதுக்கான ஒரு எக்ஸ்போஷர் வந்து இங்கே இல்லாமல் இருந்தது. நார்த் இந்தியன்ஸ் நிறைய பேர் வந்து யூஸ் பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டாங்க. சார் சொன்னது மாதிரி ஐடியில் இருக்கக்கூடிய ப்ரொஃபஷனல்ஸ் வந்து ஒரு சில பேர் வந்து சிவில் சர்வீஸ்க்கு ப்ரிப்ரேஷன் பண்ணக்கூடிய ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் வந்து யூஸ் பண்ணிக்கிட்டு இருக்கிறாங்க அவங்க. ஸோ அதனால தான் நம்ம வந்து இந்த இது விஷயங்கள் எல்லாமே வந்து நம்ம ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ்க்கு வந்து ஒரு ஐ ஓப்பனர் செஷனை வந்து வைக்கணும் அப்படின்றதுக்காக வி டிசைடட். ஸோ இந்த செஷன் இன்றைக்கி நல்லபடியாக முடிஞ்சிருக்கு. இதை வந்து நீங்கள் ரெகுலராகவே வந்து நீங்கள் ப்ராக்டிஸ் பண்ணணும். இந்த செஷன் அட்டன் பண்ணோம் அப்படியே நம்ம போனோம் அப்படின்றது மாதிரி இல்லாமல், நாளைக்கு என்ன டாபிக் வந்து செஷன் எடுக்க போகிறாரோ அந்த டாபிக் ரிலேட்டடாக முதல் நாளே நீங்கள் வந்து ChatGPTயில் ஒரு ஜஸ்ட் ஒரு அந்த கீ பாயிண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் நீங்கள் பார்த்துட்டு வந்தீங்க அப்படின்னா ஒரு மோஸ்ட் ப்ராபபிள் கொஸ்டின்ஸ் தட் குட் பி ஆஸ்ட் இன் தி யூபிஎஸ்சி ஆர் ஃபார் ப்ரிலிம்ஸு அல்லது மெயின்ஸு, ஈவன் நம்ம வந்து ஒரு 5 கொஷின்ஸ் வந்து நம்ம வந்து எம்இஎல்பி டெஸ்ட்டுக்கு வைக்கிறோம் அப்படின்னா, அந்த எம்இஎல்பி டெஸ்ட் கூடிய சிலபஸ் நம்ம முன்னாடியே கொடுக்குறோம் அப்படின்னா, வாட் ஆர் த கொஷின்ஸ் தட் குட் பி ஆஸ்ட் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி கொடுக்கலாம். தென் வந்து நீங்கள் எழுத போகிற ஆன்சர்ஸை வந்து நீங்கள் வந்து பேப்பரை எவாலுவேட் பண்ணி நம்ம வந்து கொடுத்ததுக்கப்புறம் அந்த ஆன்சரை நீங்கள் அப்லோட் பண்ணி நம்ம என்ன தான் கமெண்ட்ஸ் கொடுத்துருந்தா கூட உங்கள் ChatGPT என்ன கமெண்ட்ஸ் கொடுக்குது அப்படின்றத நீங்கள் எடுத்து பார்க்கலாம். ஏன்னா அதெல்லாம் ரொம்ப அழகான ஒரு டூல். எந்தெந்த இடத்துலலாம் நீங்கள் மிஸ் பண்ணீங்க அப்படின்றத சார் ஒரு மாடல் ஆன்சர் அப்லோட் பண்ணிவிட்டு அதை எவாலுவேட் பண்ணி கொடுத்துச்சு. இப்போ நம்ம டீம் வந்து இதை வந்து நிறைய யூஸ் பண்ணுறாங்க. ஈவன் உங்கள் பேப்பர் கரெக்ஷனுக்கே நம்ம வந்து அதை வந்து நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ண போகிறோம். ஆல்ரெடி இப்போ யூஸ் பண்ணிக்கிட்டு இருக்கோம். சிலதுக்கெலாம் நம்ம யூஸ் பண்ணிக்கிட்டு இருக்கோம். இன்னும் நிறைய விஷயங்களை நம்ம வந்து யூஸ் பண்ண போகிறோம். தென் கொஸ்டின் பேப்பர் செட்டிங்க்கு எங்களுக்கு இப்போ பெரிய லெவலில் யூஸ்ஃபுல்லாக இருக்குது வந்து ஏஐ வந்து பெரிய லெவலில் யூஸ்ஃபுல்லாக இருக்குது. ஸோ நீங்களும் வந்து ப்ரிப்ரேஷனுக்கே இதை யூஸ் பண்ணி நீங்கள் ஒரு டாபிக் வைஸ் ஒரு சார் தம்பி கேட்டது மாதிரி இண்டஸ் வேலி சிவிலைசேஷன் அப்படின்னு கேட்குறப்ப அந்த டாபிக்ஸ் அழகாக கொடுத்துருச்சு. எந்தெந்த டாப்பிக்கில் நீ வந்து ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்ணணும், எந்த டாப்பிக்கில் ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்ணக்கூடாது, கொஷின்ஸ் எப்படி வருது, அந்த கொஷினை பார்த்துட்டு அதுக்கப்புறம் நீங்கள் போய் கண்டென்ட் படிச்சிங்க அப்படின்னா உங்களுக்கு டைம் வந்து பயங்கரமாக சேவ் ஆகும். ஸோ ஸ்மார்ட் வே ஆஃப் ப்ரிப்பரேஷனுக்கு வந்து பயங்கரமாக வந்து ஹெல்ப் பண்ணுது இந்த ஏஐ டூல்ஸ். ஸோ இதெல்லாம் இருக்கக்கூடிய இந்த காலகட்டத்தில் இருக்கக்கூடிய நீங்கள் எல்லாமே வந்து யூ ஆர் பிளெஸ்ட் அப்படி தான் நம்ம சொல்லணும். யூ ஆர் பிளெஸ்டா அல்லது யூ ஆர் கர்ஸ்டா அப்படின்றது வந்து நீங்கள் ஹவு பெஸ்ட் யூ ஆர் கோயிங் டு யூஸ் தி டெக்னாலஜி அப்படின்றதான் முக்கியம். ஸோ கண்டிப்பாக வந்து யூபிஎஸ்சி ஆஸ்பிரண்ட்ஸ் எல்லாருமே வந்து பிளெஸ்டு சில்ட்ரனாக தான் இருக்கிறதுக்கு வாய்ப்பு இருக்குது. காரணம் டெக்னாலஜியை நம்ம வந்து எந்த அளவுக்கு சரியாக பயன்படுத்துவோம் அப்படின்றது நமக்கு தெரியும். சரியான விஷயத்துக்கு மட்டும்தான் நம்ம பயன்படுத்துவோம் அப்படின்றதும் நமக்கு வந்து எத்திக்கல் வேல்யூஸ், மாரல் பிஹேவியர்ஸ் அதிகமாக இருக்கிறதுனால நம்ம பெரும்பாலும் நம்ம நேரத்தோடைய டயத்தை தெரிஞ்சுக்கிட்டு, ஏன்னா இதுக்குள்ளே வந்து இன்னொரு பக்கம் ஒரு மைனஸ் பாயிண்ட் என்ன இருக்குது அப்படின்னு கேட்டிங்கன்னா, எந்த ஒரு விஷயத்தை நீங்கள் இன்றைக்கி ஷெட்யூல் போட்டு வச்சுருக்கீங்களோ, எந்த விஷயம் வந்து படிக்கணும்னு நினைக்கிறீங்களோ அதை மட்டும் நீங்கள் படிச்சுட்டு அன்றைக்கி வெளியில் வரமாட்டீங்க. நீங்கள் அப்படியே தேடி 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 உள்ளே போயிட்டே இருப்பீங்க. ரொம்ப நேரம் வந்து உங்கள் டயத்தை வந்து அதை கில் பண்ணிவிடும். ஸோ சம்டைம்ஸ் வந்து அதில் மட்டும் நீங்கள் கொஞ்சம் எச்சரிக்கையாக வந்து இருக்கணும். ஏன்னா நமக்கு இந்த வாரம் என்ன டெஸ்ட் இருக்கோ அந்த டெஸ்ட் ரிலேட்டடாக மட்டும் நீங்கள் ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்ணிவிட்டு நீங்கள் வெளில வந்துடுறது ஆல்வேஸ் பெட்டர். அப்போ தான் உங்களுக்கு வந்து டைம் வந்து எல்லாத்தையுமே வந்து மேனேஜ் பண்ண முடியும். உங்கள் நோட்ஸை வந்து முடிஞ்ச அளவுக்கு என்ன பண்ணிக்கிங்க, சாஃப்ட் காப்பியாக டிஜிட்டல் ஃபார்மேட்டில் மாற்றுறதுக்கு முயற்சி பண்ணுங்கள். மைண்ட் மேப்பிங் டெக்னிக் வந்து ரொம்ப ரொம்ப முக்கியமானது. நீங்கள் வந்து இன்ஃபர்மேஷனை ரிட்ரீவ் பண்ணுறதுக்கு. ஸோ கடைசியாக வந்து எத்தனை புத்தகம் நம்ம படிச்சிருந்தா கூட கடைசியாக வந்து நமக்கு வெரி ஃபியூ பாயிண்ட்ஸ் மட்டும் தான் நமக்கு ஞாபகம் இருக்கும் நம்ம எழுதுறதுக்கு. அந்த வெரி ஃபியூ பாயிண்ட்ஸ் என்னன்றதை உங்களுக்கு அழகாக வந்து இது எடுத்து வந்து கொடுக்குது. ஸோ இந்த மாதிரியான ஒரு அற்புதமான ஒரு ஐ ஓப்பனர் செஷன் கொடுத்த சித்தார்த் சிவசைலம் சாருக்கு வந்து கிங்மேக்கர்ஸ் ஐஏஎஸ் அகாடமியினுடைய மாணவர் சார்பாகவும் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் சார்பாகவும் நம்மளுடைய நன்றியை வந்து தெரிவிச்சுக்கிறோம். சார் 2023 எடுத்தது மாதிரி சயின்ஸ் அண்ட் டெக்னாலஜி செஷனும் சாரே இந்த வருஷம் எடுத்து கொடுத்தீங்கன்னா ரொம்ப உதவியாக இருக்கும். உங்களுடைய அவைலபிலிட்டிக்கு தகுந்த மாதிரி நம்ம அந்த ஷெடியூல் பண்ணிடுவோம் அப்படின்னு நினைக்கிறேன். ஸோ வச்சிடலாமா சாரோட செஷன்? ஸோ சயின்ஸ் அண்ட் டெக்னாலஜிக்கு அவரை விட்ட ஒரு பெஸ்ட் ரிசோர்ஸ் பர்சன் வேறு யாருமே இருக்க முடியாது. பயோடெக்னாலஜியாக இருக்கட்டும், நானோ டெக்னாலஜியாக இருக்கட்டும், எல்லாமே வந்து ரொம்ப அழகாக எடுத்து கொடுத்தாங்க சார். அந்த பிபிடியே ரொம்ப சூப்பராக இருந்தது. எவ்ரி ஸ்டூடெண்ட் வந்து தே என்ஜாய்ட் இட். ஸோ இதை வந்து நம்ம லாஸ்ட் மினிட்ல வெறும் சயின்ஸ் அண்ட் டெக்னாலஜின்னு நம்ம வைக்காம அப்பப்போ வந்து ஒவ்வொரு டாபிக் முடிச்சுட்டே வந்துடலாம். நமக்கு இருக்கிறதே மொத்தமே வந்து ஹார்ட்லி ஒரு 9 to 10 டாபிக்ஸ் தான் இருக்குது. ஒவ்வொரு டாப்பிக்கையும் நம்ம அப்பப்போ நம்ம வந்து முடிச்சுட்டே வந்துடலாம். நம்ம நெக்ஸ்ட்டு அந்த ஸ்பெஷல் செஷன் எல்லாமே வந்து நம்ம வந்து இந்த ஹாலில் நம்ம ஆர்கனைஸ் பண்ணதுக்கு ரீசன் உங்களுக்கு எல்லாருக்குமே தெரியும். அதனால் உங்களை பற்றி எனக்கு நல்லா தெரியுன்றதுனால நான் வந்து முன்னாடியே இந்த முறையெல்லாம் வந்து முன்னெச்சரிக்கையாக நான் வந்து இந்த ஹாலில் ஆர்கனைஸ் பண்ணிட்டேன். ஒரு சில மாணவர்கள் பர்மிஷன் கொடுக்க முடியல இந்த ஹாலில் உட்கார்றதுக்கு, மன்னிக்கணும். நீங்கள் வந்து சில விஷயங்களை புரிஞ்சுக்கணும், தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும், திருந்தணும் அப்படின்றதுக்கு தான் நம்ம வந்து அலோவ் பண்ணலை. கிரவுண்ட் ஃப்ளோரில் லேட்டாக வந்து ஹாலில் உட்காந்து இந்த செஷனை வந்து கவனிச்சுட்டு இருக்கக்கூடிய உங்களுக்கு என்னுடைய வாழ்த்துக்கள் முதல்ல. ஏன்னா நம்மளை வந்து அலோவ் பண்ணலை அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு நம்ம வந்து வெளியில் போகாமல் நீங்கள் உட்காந்து ரொம்ப ஆர்வமாக கவனிச்சுக்கிட்டு இருந்தது நான் பார்த்தேன். ஏன்னா இட் ஷோஸ் யுவர் இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் அண்ட் இன்வால்மெண்ட்டு. ஏன்னா நிறைய மாணவர்கள் என்ன பண்ணுவாங்கன்னா செஷனுக்கு அலோவ் பண்ணலன்னா அப்படியே கிளம்பி போயிடுவாங்க, வீட்டுக்கு போயிடுவாங்க. ஆனால் நீங்கள் அப்படி இல்லை, கீழே உட்காந்து நீங்கள் கம்ப்ளீட்டாக வந்து அந்த செஷனை வந்து கவனிச்சுக்கிட்டு இருந்தீங்க, நோட்ஸ் எடுத்தீங்க. ஒரு சில பேர் வந்து கையில் பேப்பர் எடுத்து கையில் வச்சுருந்தீங்க, அதையும் நான் அப்சர்வ் பண்ணேன். இட்ஸ் வெரி குட் ஆட்டிடியூட் அது. ஸோ 10 நிமிஷத்துக்கு முன்னாடியே எந்த ஒரு செஷனாக இருந்தாலும் சரி மாணவர்களாகிய நம்ம வந்து ரெடியாக வந்து உட்காந்துருக்கணும். எந்த ஒரு செஷனும் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணதுக்கப்புறம் டிஸ்டர்ப் பண்ணுறது மாதிரி நம்ம உள்ளே வந்து வரக்கூடாது. அந்த ஃப்ளோ கெட்டு போயிடும் அப்படின்றதுக்காக தான் நம்ம வந்து செஷன் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணதுக்கப்புறம் இனிமேல் வந்து எப்போவுமே ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ்க்கு கிளாஸ் உள்ள வந்து எந்த ஸ்டூடெண்ட்டையும் அலோவ் பண்ணாதீங்க அப்படின்ற ஒரு இன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ஷன் வந்து நம்ம கொடுத்துருக்கோம். இது இந்த செஷனுக்கு மட்டும் இல்லை, இனிமேல் எந்த செஷனுக்குமே ஃபேக்கல்ட்டி உள்ளே வந்து கிளாஸ் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணிட்டாங்கன்னா தே வில் நாட் பர்மிட். ஓகே, ஸோ ஐ நீட் யுவர் கோஆப்ரேஷன். அதுக்கப்புறம் நீங்கள் வந்து ஃபீஸ் திருப்பிலாம் கேட்டுறதீங்க, தரமாட்டேன். ஓகே, தேங்க்யூ ஸோ மச்.